Hi, back today with another lesson from Make the Cuts Pop-Up Card Studio. Today we are going to go through and make this card. What it is, it's a 2-card pop-up, meaning that this penguin is one pop-up and then the igloo over the top is a second pop-up that gets glued in over the top of the penguin card. And this entranceway is the arched steps feature on Pop-Up Card Studio. So what we'll do is we'll start with the penguin part of the card. So we're actually going to be making the 2 cards and putting them together. So we'll start with, we need to open a new project, and this is what you'll get. And what we need is a 4.96 by 4.96. Now this will be the inside of the card, which is the pop-up of the penguin, so we need that smaller than the actual igloo part of the card. So this is our card. We're going to have the penguin on the plane position of 1. So now we need to go and get the penguin. So or something that you want to put in it. In this case, I have a penguin in my Your Shapes. It's Tux the Penguin. It's a Linux free penguin, which I turned into a cut file. I'm going to paper piece this penguin together, but first off, I need a shadow of him this size at 2.23 high to put into the igloo. So with that selected, I'll go shadow, and I'll do a 1.5mm shadow around, and with the block out on, I go accept. Now that shadow is the piece that I want to take to Pop-Up Card Studio. So we'll go click on that, we'll go copy. Then we go back to Pop-Up Card Studio and we go paste. Now we don't change the size of that because we know that that is the one that's going to be for paper piecing, but we do need to make sure that the base of the penguin is completely flat to go onto the bottom plane, and we need a flat bit on its head. This is why I did a shadow, flat piece on its head, so we can have an anchor to the back. So we'll start by having the lowest snapping. It'll zoom in, and we'll do a trim, a non-exclusive rectangle. We can just take a bit off the bottom so it's even. At the moment it's not even. So we've just taken a bit off of the bottom, and now we take a bit off the top for the anchor to go to the back of the card. Just by lassoing and just going short bit down under the top of the penguin, made that straight across there. Back to the arrow. Now we need the penguin centered, so we click on this button over this side and then down to the bottom of the plane. So that's now anchored to the bottom of the card. Now we need an anchor from the penguin to the back of the card. So hitting the space bar will take you to the bottom plane. We put this on a snapping of 1/8 of an inch. We go to the Bezier straight line tool, click on that, auto quad, and I use the 2-point rec. The 2-point rec with the snapping on, all you do is you go to this side of this yellow line until they both, the blue line and the red line, turn dotted. You go click, release the click, move to the diagonal until they both go to dotted lines, and you go click. This now is your penguin card. Other than the shaping at the top of the card, that's all there is to that. Now what we'll do is we'll go and we'll get the next screen. This time we want 5 inches by 5 inches. Enter. Now this will now be our igloo bit over the top, so that's got to come out further than the actual penguin does. So we'll have that at 1.75. A plane at 1.75. So we'll be working that far out from the back of the plane, and we've got to work under this line here. So that's alright. We'll bring in the Bezier straight line tool. This time we'll go to the arched steps. In this case I want to use 10 arches, 10 steps, and we put on this split mirror. Now it calculated that the middle of my card is 2.5, which is half of 5. So what I want to do now is you just click over this side, we'll say about this down to there. Right, we'll click over here and we'll click in the center. So I'm not going higher than the dotted line here. And what I did over this side does the same over this side. Then I click and join them together. Now if I think they're too far apart for the arch, I can bring them in a little bit, but I'll put them back in the center. There's the top of the arch with the arch steps. So when that's folded, it's like a entrance. Now we go to basic shapes. We bring in this half round in under generic. We'll bring in this half shape rounded rec. And it comes in up here, but it's turned, so we'll just turn it with this 90-degree rotate. We'll make it bigger. About the size you want, and then we have to put it in the center to get a rough idea. You can take it in your own shaping, keeping in mind that our penguin was 2.31 wide, so we don't have it too much narrower than that. That looks about right, so we make sure that's in the middle and down to the bottom plane, and it is. Now what we need to do is we need to continue this arched down to the bottom plane as well. So we'll bring in the Bezier auto quad rectangle, and I think we'll have that on 1/8 of an inch snapping, and we'll do a 2-point rec, making sure that the dotted line on this side, so we know we're joining up with this arch up here. And then what we do is we click on this arch and this rectangle and we go weld. No, holding the shift key down, click on the arch and the rectangle. We go weld. No, that didn't work. Yeah. Try that again. Set that up a bit. Click on this. Whoops, I moved it. So undo. Click on this, holding the shift key down. Click on that. Go weld. throw that one away. We have the two. Right. Okay, now we select both of them by lassoing them. We make sure they're both in the center, and we make sure they're both on the bottom plane. And that's the front door of our igloo. So we select them, we do a join, and then we have the entranceway of our door. Okay, now what we do is we hit the space bar, and that will take us to the bottom plane. Now this is where the magic happens. I just used the Control Shift and the arrow key, and I went down, and that took us down to the first plane of our straight part of our stairs. So we go Bezier, 2-point rec, auto quad, leaving the split mirror on. Because if I go like this, like we do normally, clicking on this side of the yellow line, making sure that they're both dotted lines, we go click to the diagonal and click. See, not only did it put it on this side, it did the same on this side of the stairs, because this was a mirror of that, and we're still mirroring. Right, you go Control Shift arrow down, that takes us to the next plane. Click here. When they're both dotted, click. Click. No. I didn't see at that one. I didn't wait until this was dotted lines. I moved my mouse, so I know that's going to be broken. So we go undo. Easy fix. Click. When they're both dotted lines, click. Click. Control Shift arrow down. Click. Click. Control Shift arrow down. Click here when they're dotted lines. Diagonal. Click when they're both dotted. Click. And the same here. Click. And Control Shift arrow down. Click. And I can see that I've got one more to go. Click. I can move this around by using the scroll bar and the right arrow key. Click. Right, so that now has all the stairs except for the centre one. If I turn the mirror off now, go up to the mirror by Control Shift arrow up, and I just put this one in here. So now that's complete. The other thing is, because the penguin's going to be put in behind here, we need this part here free, so there's nothing on the base of the igloo card from just over an inch from the back. So what we'll do now is we'll take this plane down to 0. So we're now on the 0 plane, and what we need to do is we need to take about 1 1/8 inch out from the back there. So that's easy. We just go click there, click a bit past the 1 inch mark on the grid, click there. If you notice when I just did that, you'll see this all chop out here on the front of the arch door. That's because everything you put in lands on the very top. So all you do is you go to your arrow key and click on this this button here, set order, move to bottom. So with that selected, we move that to the bottom. See, it changed. If I moved it to the top, it cuts it out. If I move it to the bottom, it goes to the bottom. So now what that's going to do is it's going to cut that away. This little bit of an arch thing will just fall out when it's cut, so that won't be there impeding on where the penguin comes in the back. Now, the only other thing is the shape of the card. Because if you notice, my card up the top is angled. So if we go to the back plane, I hope I do this right because I was taught by Andy how to do this, and I'm only learning. So we go to the 0 plane. So now we're on the back of the card. We'll zoom in a bit. Now we go this freehand draw, mirror, because what I do over this side, I want to take off over this side. So we go start 2 inches down, we click there, release the button, and we click at the diagonal there. Now when we click here, so that's 2 inches down and 2 inches across. When we click here, we keep the mouse key down, and we drag out here 2 inches. Straight out to the top of the card. See how that's now arched the side? We click there, let go, back to the edge, back to the corner of the card, click, let go, and down to where we started. Click, let go. See, we've cut away this side of the card, and we're going to cut away that side of the card. Now, I didn't do this on the penguin because I wanted it exactly like that. So what I do is select that, I do a copy, and now I go back to the penguin card. With it on the back plane, I go 0, and I go paste in place. So now that's pasted what I wanted from the igloo card to the penguin card. Now this is your pop-up completely finished now. We've got the one part, which is the igloo and the penguin. Now, what we need is we've got this penguin. That's going to be without the shadow, because we don't need the shadow for that no more. This is going to be paper pieced. But also what we need from this one is we need this arch. Now, because we're on the back plane now and I want to pick this arch, all I do is push D on the keyboard, and I can go around, and as I go around it highlights all the bits and pieces. So when I get to the arch, I just click with my mouse and it'll take it straight to that. Now I want a copy of this, go to make the cut and go paste in place. So that's our piece that's the front of the igloo for here. So anything on here, like if you had wording or anything and you go, oh, maybe I want to cut that out to put on the top of my cutout when it's done, all you do is you click on it, you do a copy, and you take it to make the cut, and you can have a copy there. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll save this, save, and we'll go igloo, and we'll save this one Save. Penguin. Now, we now go export. Export as SVG. And we export that one. While it's doing that, we'll export this one as an SVG. And then that will pop up so you can check it. So then we go into make the cut. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in those SVGs. First up, we'll move these aside. Bring in the SVGs, we need to find them. Bring in the igloo, and this is your pieces of your igloo. And we go, it'll come in, you'll have your dash lines and your igloo, the main part of the card. All you do on here is you go to each its own. So now each piece is, you've got your valley fold, your mountain folds, and your cut lines. We'll bring in the penguin. Open. Now this is your penguin card, and what will happen is your penguin will be paper pieced and pieced onto here. So we'll get the penguin and go to each its own. So there you have it. So what you'll be doing is you'll be cutting these out with your score lines. Now, the thing is, we want this to go on the front of the card when it's cut, but we wanted a little bit of a shadow, but we also want a piece for this back of the card. Now, how I got that is I took a copy of both, a copy of all this, holding down the shift and control, I took a whole complete copy of that. I threw away, I break apart. I don't want to break apart that, I want to break apart this one. Break apart. What I'm going to do is throw away this centre bit, cut, and I need a copy of this archway. And what you do is we'll edit this now. We'll click on that line. That takes us to, we only want this top half of the thing, and you click on this line and edit, and there still must be one down there. Yes, we'll click on that and edit. Now we've got the top half of the card. We want this. Send this to its own layer for a minute. Right. Sorry. That way. We'll delete these lines here, because we know that's the bottom of the card now. What we do, also what we have is in the rendering, because we cut this card bit out, we can edit this by just clicking on this, delete that, clicking on this, delete that. Now, a little artifact here that we don't need. Okay. We join that. Oh no, it doesn't need joining. Okay. Now what we need to do is center these and bottomize them. So we go stack, no, alright, and then we go bottom. So we know that's in the bottom. So all we need to do now is delete this line here by clicking on it and pushing the delete key, getting the pencil and joining up these lines here. I'm concerned. And we join them too. Yes. Okay. So now what we have is the two pieces, but we'll do an inner shadow of these so they're slightly smaller, so it fits around nice and neatly around the pieces with a bit of a shadow, especially like here where it's at the fold line, so it gives a bit of room for the folding. So with them two selected, I'll put them on their own layers and clean up a bit. We need to give them a shadow, inner shadow. So we go to the minus, and I think we need about 1.15 inner shadow. See, that will just cut just inside to allow for the fold lines. We go accept. Now we don't want we want to throw away the top layer and keep that shadow layer. So we'll throw this away. Oh no. Start again. Undo. Do it again. Easy done. Inner shadow. We go accept. And we keep the shadow layer and throw away the other one. So they are the two pieces that will be cut. And in my case, I embossed through the embossing machine little bricks on it. And that's just about it. We need to do that little bit of editing here. Just delete, click on those four on each of them. I think there was a little artifact there, but I can't find it right now. And that's all we need, except for the very outer card. That's easy done. We click on this bigger one, which is the igloo. We go shadow 5 millimeters with the block out, and we go accept. So then now your igloo, your outer card is this shadow one, so we can go outer card by clicking on that outer card. So then we have our penguin, which will be paper pieced. I won't go through all the paper piecing, and then we have this on another layer that will be cut. So each is on its own layer. So you'll cut out all this, and then what I'll do is I'll have another lesson showing how I fold this, which is really easy. Even though it looks hard, it's not that hard, and show how to put the card together. Now, and that concludes this half of the video. If you'd like to come back and watch how I construct this card, there'll be the next video will be how to construct it. This has been another lesson from SusanBlueRobot.com. If you would like to purchase Pop-Up Card Studio by Make the Cut, you can click on the link below this video, or you can go SusanBlueRobot.com and there'll be a link from there so you can go and purchase it. If you like this video and want to watch more, I have a fair few videos now. Bear in mind that so far the videos I'm making are still beta testing program. Your program that you get will be a fully tested program. And I hope you enjoy this and come back and watch other videos as they're made. Thank you.